Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to be looking at how we can detail a slab in section. The previous video, we looked at how we detail the slab like this, and you can see we have the bending details view, and we also have here the normal view, which just shows the reinforcement tags. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and open up a section view, and by the way, if you need access to any of these project files, you can download it from the description of the video. If I scroll down, we can see we have layer section 1, and we can see here that we have section 2 here as well. I'm going to go ahead and double click to open up this section view, and we're going to make some modifications to this view. I'm going to come to the view scale, and I'll set it here to a custom scale of 1 to 30. Alright, good. Once I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and hide the sections I don't need. I'll click on that, right click, and I'll hide in view by elements. We'll need the other one there. So this reference plane, we don't need that in this view. So I'll click on it. I'll right click and I'll go ahead and hide in view by category, which hides all the other reference planes there. This here section 2, we will need it in this view so we can reference the other. You can see that section 2. I'm going to add a gap in the elements, and I'm just going to drag the extents down a bit. Alright, that's the annotation elements. And then the crop region visible, I'm just going to modify and make sure that it's just around the slab. This will help us with placement on sheets later on. You can see here that by dragging the crop region, it's affected our section. We have to go ahead and add the gap in it again. So I'll turn off the crop region visible. That's fine. There we go. And then for the grid line, I'm just going to go ahead and modify the 2D extents. I'll click and drag it down at the top. And I'll do that for the bottom as well. Want to make sure we utilize the space properly. Okay, good. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add the dimensions between the grid lines, but let me add the gap in the elements for this annotation for the section 2. There we go. Great. Good. Now I'm going to come to the Annotate tab, and then I'm going to click on Align Dimension, and I'm going to add a dimension between the spans. So from X1 all the way to X4. Then I'll add a full dimension from X1 to X4. I can also as well add a dimension between the supports, just like this. Just going to add one here all the way for the beams. Just going to drag it down and place it. There we go. Click on Modify or Escape. Alright, good. I can also add a void symbol as well. I can do that with my detail line, Annotate tab. If I click on detail line, I can go ahead and draw 2 lines to indicate that there's a void there. So I'll click here, press Escape. I'll click here, and I'll click here, press Escape. We can as well go ahead and change those lines here to a different line type, but let's go ahead and add the text here. I'll align it to the center. I'll change it here to a 2.5 Arial. That's fine. I'll go ahead and click here. I'll type here void. Great, good. So I just press Escape, or I just click on Modify, and you can see we've placed the text. Now I'm going to go ahead and select the line. Select this first line here. I'll select the second line. And I'll just change the line style here to hidden. That's fine. And there we go. So we can visibly see that there's a void in that segment of the slab. Alright, let's go ahead and prepare the slab section for detailing. I'm going to zoom in towards this section like this. And you can see some bars are not properly aligned. So I'll click on this rebar set, and I'll use my left arrow key to nudge it to the side. I want to be careful as it might affect any other details in any respective view. If I open up level 2, you can see the selected reinforcement in question, and we want to make sure it's not too close to the other bar that we set like that for presentation. So here in this position is fine. Very good. I'm just going to go to the other regions as well and make sure that they are all accounted for. Right, so in this case, I need to select this one here. I'll click and I'll nudge it to the right using my right arrow key. Great. Okay, good. Now, we're going to change the detail level. As you can see, it appears as a line. We want to see the actual shape and diameter. So I'll change the detail level here from coarse. I'll set it here to medium. Fine works as well. So, likewise, we can see the actual shape. For the sectional bars, I'll click on it, and I'm just going to nudge it down a bit so we can clearly distinguish between non-sectional and sectional bars. I'll nudge this one up. I'll come here. You can see it's overlapping. I'll nudge that one down. I'll click on this, nudge it down. Just want to zoom in a bit and make sure that it's proper. There we go. I'll click and drag this non-sectional bar up a bit. Great. So it falls on its cover. I'll come to this point here, click on it. They're just going to go ahead and nudge it up a bit. Click here and nudge this one down. This bottom bar, I'll nudge it up a bit. Great. I seem to be a perfectionist myself. All right, great. So this is fine. Okay. Now let's go ahead and tag the bars. I'm just going to go ahead and move the position of the 2D extent for this level so we can clean up the section, rebar section or slab section. Okay, good. Now I want to start by tagging the sectional bars. I'm going to come to the Annotate tab and I'm going to locate the multi-rebar annotation tool. I'll make sure peak position is turned on, leader line is turned on as well, and this is set to horizontal. I'll go ahead and click on the rebar set and I'll click again, and then I'll click and click. Yeah, great. So we've gone ahead and added the multi-rebar annotation for the rebar set. I'll do this for here as well. And I always like to make sure that they are aligned to make the detailing as clean as possible. Click and click again. Good. For the bottom, I'll click. I'll move here, click, and I'll click, and I'll click again. Great, good. I can click on modify or escape, and I can also click and drag them. I want to make space for my non-sectional bar tags that will come later on. All right, so let's go ahead and place the other multi-rebar tags here. I'll click, and I just want to make sure that it's aligned with the other one on that side, on the left side. I'll come here, click, click. Great. I'll do the same thing in this direction. Click here, click, click, and click to place it. Great. I'll do the same for the bottom. Click, click, and I just click here. Awesome. Okay, good. As we can see, we have tagged the non-sectional bars. Now let's go ahead and tag the sectional, or sorry, the non-sectional rather. We've tagged the sectional, let's tag the non-sectional. So I'm just going to select the tag by category, set leader line turned on, horizontal, and you can see here that is indicating the type and rebar number. So I'm just going to click, and I'll click on modify. As you can see, this shows here the type and the rebar number. That is for this bar here. You can see this shows type and number. I'm going to click on the edit type, and I'll set leader arrowhead here to show as arrow fill 20 degrees. So you can see it indicating the bar in question. I can click and drag the bar, and I can put it in the position where I want it to be. Here is fine, so it doesn't clash with the multi-rebar tags. And I also want to indicate for the bar at different segments, even though it's already been tagged. So I'll come here and tag again. As you can see, the arrow is already there. I can also modify the position. And you can see it doesn't allow me to tag again. And to fix this, it's quite easy. You can just cancel, and you can just cancel again, and just come back here to tag by category. And you can see you'll be able to tag that same bar again. All right, good. Let's go ahead and do it again. As you can see, it's not allowing me to. I can press escape twice, and I can click on tag by category. I can come here and place the tag. Just going to drag it away, and I'm just going to add a leader. Okay, there we go. Then just going to go ahead and drag this away, and then modify the leader line like that. Good. So it's a cleaner presentation. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side as well. I'm going to tag here, then drag the leader arrow to the side, nudge it down a bit, and I can go ahead and do the same thing, but I can click TG, which is the shortcut for tag by category. So if I type TG, I don't always have to come back here. I can use the shortcuts. I can drag it here to the side. Great. And I can type TG again, and I can still tag that same bar. So it's quite a faster workflow. So I'll come here, just type TG, since this bar has already been tagged already. Drag it to the side so it doesn't clash, and place it exactly where I want it to be. All right, good. I also want to modify these ones as well. So I'll just press escape, select this, and then just modify the leaders, and so it looks consistent with the other side. There we go. All right, great. Now let's go ahead and detail section 2. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. All right, good. So first thing, I'm going to change the detail level to medium, and then I'll change the scale here. So custom scale of 30. All right, good. And now I'm just going to go ahead and modify. I'll remove this sections first. I'll hold down the control key to select both. I'll hide in view by elements. Then I want to hide the reference planes as well. I can just select one, right click, hide in view by category. And then I'm just going to modify the crop region. Just going to make sure that it's set in place to make it easier to place on sheets later on for documentation. I'm going to hide the crop region. I'll turn it off, the visibility. And now I'm going to add a gap in the section 1 annotation. I'm just going to add a gap like this. I'm just going to drag it up. I want to make sure I'm utilizing space as well as possible, as good as possible rather. So I'm going to add the dimension between the spans, and I also want to consider the slab overhangs as well here in this case, and in the other end as well for the cantilever. Just going to make sure I reference it properly. There we go. I'm going to add the dimensions at the bottom for the supports. Just going to add it there, so that shows the widths of the beams. I'm also going to include that reference as well. Okay. And all the way to the cantilever. There we go, and place it here. I'll add the full span of the slab, and I'll want to reference the cantilever side as well. There we go, and then I just place it. Awesome. Just click on modify, and that's fine. I'll modify the position of the level, the 2D extent for the level, and now we have a very clean detail. All right, let's continue. They say practice makes perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the detail line to show the void in the slab. Just going to reference these 2 points. I'll press escape, and I can select this line here, and I'm going to mirror, let's draw axis, and to draw in the other direction. There we go. And I'm going to go to the Annotate tab. I'll click on text tool. I'll come and click inside here. I'll type here void, and I can just click outside. I'll press escape. There we go. I'm also just going to modify the annotation. I want to be consistent with my section 1 details as well. I'll drag these dimensions down a bit to that position, and I'll modify the position of the grid line. This is quite useful because you want to make sure you're utilizing the space on your paper. Okay, so just going to drag this extent up a bit, and that's perfect. Now let's go ahead and tag the reinforcement in section 2. We need to go ahead and just modify the position of those sectional bars first. I'll nudge it down a bit in this direction. I'll go ahead and do the same thing. Oops. In this case, we can see that we need to make sure that that top bar covers the C2 bar. So I'm going to click here, and I'll modify the dimension. I'll set it to 1000. Still doesn't cover. Let's try 12. 12 should cover it. There we go. All right, good. Just going to look in this direction. Everywhere here looks fine. That's fine. I might just click on this B to nudge it up a bit. All right, so we can clearly distinguish between the B1 and B2 there. Okay, let's go ahead and tag the reinforcement. Click on the multi-rebar. Let's just save the project. You can never be too safe. And I'll just make sure the settings are set properly. I'll click here, move up a bit, click here, and click to place that. So we'll do the same thing for all the other sectional bars in view. So this is just one way to actually detail your slabs and sections. So you have the freedom and the liberty to actually place your tags however you see fit. Okay, so just place like this. This one here. I always like to make sure it's everything aligned. It's all aligned. I'll click here, move down a bit, click here, click here, click here. I'll place one here as well. Click here, go down. Great. I'll do the same thing as well. I want to make sure that we tag all the bars in question. I'll come here. Let's do that for the B1 bars. Click here, and click here. Great. Just click on modify or escape, and we've tagged all the sectional bars. Now let's tag the non-sectional. I'm going to come here to tag by category, and I'm going to start here, and we can see we can tag the bar. We can also reduce the length of the leader or set it here to 7. That's much better. Saves me a lot of time with dragging it around. Just going to place the position here. There we go. And I'm going to do this here. I'll type TG again to reset the tag by category to TG again. Good. Place one here. Place one here. There we go. I'll come here, place it. This is a new bar, so you don't have to type TG again. This is a different bar as well. You can see from the rebar numbers. Okay, so here, just going to tag here. There we go. Place one at the bottom. Okay, so we want to tag the same bar, so we type TG again. Good. Come to the top here. Rebar number 11. Type 10 or diameter 10. TG, because we want to tag the same bar again. Okay, there we go. And good. So we've tagged all the non-sectional bars. Okay, That's fine. Oops, let's just go ahead and tag in this direction as well. So just come here, place the tag where we need it to be. Great. So we've tagged all the bars in section 2. All right, well, the final stages. I'm going to select this tag here and I'll click on edit type. I want to change the color, so I'll select that tag label and I'll click on edit type, and I'll go ahead and change the color here from black. I'll just use this blue color and I'll click OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and load it back into project and close. We're not saving it, so just click on no and I'll overwrite with the second option, and you can see we have a consistent color with our multi-rebar tags. All right, good. Now I'm going to add a spot elevation to show the elevation of the slab. This can be quite useful, especially if you are not having your level in your slab section. So to do that, I'm just going to go to the Annotate tab and I'm going to click on Spot Elevation, and I'm going to move to the surface of the slab. So I'll click here, the top surface rather, and you can see it shows you the elevation in millimeter for this template. There we go. I'll come to section 1 as well, click here, and I'll show the elevation here, and click here, and I'll place the elevation there as well, and press escape. Great. I can also click and modify the position. I can place it anywhere I want. All right, good. And that's how we detail our slab sections. There we go. That's how we detail slab sections in Revit. In the next video in this series, we'll look at how to create bar bending schedules, calculate rebar tonnage from bar weights, as well as the costs. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.